to show you some of the tools that are available in the Civil 3D Tools ribbon tab. And I'm going to work myself from right to left, just because the very last one here is a very convenient way of managing your Civil 3D objects. So Visibility Manager basically gives you a holistic view of what Civil 3D objects we have in this drawing, and it really easily lets you control the visibility of the items on and off with a simple light bulb switch. Very similar to how we use layering in AutoCAD, but layering doesn't quite well with Civil 3D elements because of their styles. So this gives us like a nice global setting where we can simply take a look at the drawing, and if we don't want to see elements, we can just turn them off. So in this drawing, this demo set that I have prepared, we have a pipe network, we have a pressure network, we have an alignment, we have a number of just plain AutoCAD lines. We also have profile views, section views, corridors. And in here, I can really easily figure out which one I want to turn off. So for example, if I don't want to see my pipes, I can simply turn off the light bulb for pipes and that goes away. Pressure lines, water lines, I can take that off. If I'm not interested in looking at my corridor at any point in time, turn that off. And what that is doing behind the scenes is it's applying a no display Civil 3D style that ships out of the box with our tools, and whenever you want to turn it back on, it remembers what style you had it on. So when I turn on my waterline again, it goes back to the previous style that it was on. So it's not randomly picking any civil style. So I feel like this is a very convenient way of managing your Civil 3D data. It carries through, you can save that setting. You can also simply select one item at a time. So if I hit this with my hide selected and select an item that I want to hide with this alignment, and hit spacebar, the alignment gets hidden, and I can then show everything again, similar to layer on, layer off. In this drawing, we also have a number of sections that I cut through the corridor, so I can look at my sections. In Civil 3D, usually you have to zoom in and then you pan and zoom to the next one. The section navigator here makes it very easy to review your sections. We have a small little toolbar here, and I can jump from one to the other really easily that way. As you can see, the stations are updating here. That's the stations of the section views. Very similar to the corridor section editor, but this one is a little bit more for reviewing sections, the actual section views that you've created. You can actually use these tools right here to jump in the drawing to, like, for example, I want to take a look at the alignment that is associated with this section view, and that gives me the section view right away. Likewise, I can use this tool to select a sample line and jump back to the section for that sample line really easily without panning and zooming everywhere. We can also do the same with the profile. So if I select the alignment here, that jumps me back to the profile view for that particular alignment. So I don't have to zoom and pan all around. So very handy tool for just maneuvering and managing the visibility of items in your drawing. In Civil 3D, we have the handy tool of interference checking, and our tools, in some cases, extend the functionality of Civil 3D a bit more to give you more tools that you can work with. So native in Civil 3D is the ability to clash detect two pipe networks together, two gravity lines. In our tools here, we have the create utility crossing analysis. And this tool will let you pick pipe networks, gravity lines, as well as pressure networks. So in this drawing here, I have a storm drain that is modeled as a pipe network, and I also have a water line that is modeled as a pressure network. And if I select those two networks that I want to cross-check together, and I select a Kobo point style for the crossing symbol and a label, can then hit OK, and I get at the crossing a new Google point that is created for me. And in this Google point, it has specific user-defined properties for uh, the utility crossing here. So the top elevation of the top network is 205, and the bottom network is 200.74. So that's measuring from crown of pipe to invert of the pipe above, and it's figuring out the elevation difference, and it's telling you which pipe is over which one, and it creates this Google point which we can use to label as appropriate, as well as a nice way to figure out the clearances as well as tabulate the clearance. So now that I have a Google point, it's very easy to create a table style with a lot of these, of course, a lot of the crossings. So you have a crossing table really quickly created from these Google points and the user-defined properties. Whenever we don't want to see that anymore, create utility crossing analysis, we can just simply erase them, and that goes away. So I don't have to keep them. I can also update them if the design changes. But now I have an easy way of figuring out my crossings. This drawing, I have a gravity pipe network here that I have projected along the profile view. And as you can see, I've on purpose designed this incorrectly. So it's going, it's flowing to the left here, but it's going up. So one huge advantage of our MicroCAD productivity tools here for Civil 3D is the ability to design an entire system of pipe network very quickly. If you're familiar with the functionality in Civil 3D, you know that if I need to design this or redesign the slope here to be going the other direction, I need to select one pipe at a time and either input the invert or input the slope, one pipe at a time. And that will take approximately maybe 4 minutes or so with the clicking, opening the dialog, inputting the data, saving the dialog. So with the pipe editor, we have one tool, one dialog that lets us see the entire pipe run of choice. So I selected the first to the end run. And one dialog here, I can input my beginning invert elevation, or maybe 190, maybe a little bit higher. And I can input a slope that I want, and maybe even a drop that I want between the manholes. And you'll see right off the bat, it's actually updating in preview mode right now. And I get to see what I'm doing. And I can lock the upstream or downstream. I can decide if I want to slope along the entire run, the drop between the runs. We also have additional settings here to align the pipes via invert or center or crown if I want to. And then I can simply apply. Now notice this is a modeless dialog too, so you can work with the drawing as the dialog is open, but once you finish, hit apply, the run updates itself. Of course, all the labels update themselves. So a very huge advantage of designing or redesigning your pipe network really quickly that way. We can also finally swap multiple parts. This is something that we've been wanting for quite a while. But if I take a couple of pipes in here, and let's say a couple of, let's say these catch basins, I want to convert to a manhole. So I can execute the swap multiple parts command, select the parts I'm interested in. So from first run here to maybe the end, all of those should be manholes. And I can swap the structures as well as the pipes. So I can, for structures, I want to swap those to a manhole. So I'll do a manhole. But for pipes, I'm not going to change my pipes. I can hit OK now, and you'll see that all my structures have been updated together, then swapped to a main hub. So a very huge advantage here. There's also additional tools for pipes that I have not shown. Those are by far my two favorite. For corridor modeling, we often have quite a bit of assemblies in our drawings. I really love this label assemblies tool. We have an assembly in this drawing here that I can just simply say label assembly, and I can choose a text style, and here is a small little text here that's basically just simply reading the name of the assembly. And if we have like a handful of these assemblies, it's really great to know what the name of these assemblies is. Yeah, a smart label like that. Now, moving along, one of the features I was very glad I found out using the tools here is the ability to label feature lines in profile view. Now, you might know that whenever we have a feature line, we have elevations along that feature line. And because we have the elevations, of course, we have the grades between the vertices. And in this feature line, short little feature line here might resemble a power line, or maybe a dry utility of some sort. And here we have some grades, and we want to project that along the profile view. And we simply do that, very simple operation. And if we want to label that in profile view, we can apply a grade label for our feature line. Now, here's a thing I never thought about in Civil 3D. When we apply grades to a feature line, it does not actually label it correctly. So I have here a label of along the feature line I projected, and it says 0.63%. Yet I know based on elevations, it's actually only 0.5% grade along that curve. And the reason being is that this is longer. The curve is longer than the projected flattened straight section on profile view, so it doesn't label it correctly. And that is a thing that we should be aware about with labeling feature lines. It does not actually label it correctly in profile view. So we have a tool here, label feature line in profile view, that corrects this glitch. So we can say I want to have a prefix here of something, and I can use the grade label or slope label, like none of a rise or grade percent. I can put a prefix, suffix, a text type that I want, and I can simply hit OK here. Now I get a new label here with the appropriate grade label shown. So that fixes that, and this label is dynamic. So for any reason, if my feature line changes, so if I change my grade here to be 1%, obviously my grade label updates really quickly, yet the Civil 3D label doesn't even update, and I need to fix that. And even when I fix it, it reports a wrong label. So I'm really grateful for our edit label feature line tool here. Another nice feature is just quickly to create profile views. So we have the create multiple profile views tool. And in this drawing, we have a lot of alignments, but I have two specific alignments here, the red and green. So I want to create profile views for them, as well as they don't actually have a surface profile created. So I'm going to create a surface profile for both of them at the same time, putting in the proper style, layer, and the label set. And I hit OK. Gives me the opportunity to click once, and I have nicely stacked profile views with a surface profile created in them. Now I've also separately created a design profile for each one of those, and using the design profile, we can actually also offset the profiles. This is a feature that we long wanted in Civil 3D, the ability to offset profiles. We don't have that ability out of the box, but now we do. Create offset profile, we select the profile. We can say I want to offset this a particular distance, let's say 5, and I hit OK, and now I have a nice offset profile. This is an actual profile object. It is not a polyline or anything. Granted, it is not dynamic to the original one, but it is an offset profile. And we can take a look at alignment B here. I have profiles. I have alignment B profile, alignment B, the layout profile that I offsetted it, as well as the surface profile. So very nice way of offsetting profiles really quickly. Now, also a handy tool is the ability to join the alignments. So this is new in 2021. We also now have the ability to join two profiles together. Granted, they have to be touching each other like any other polyline. If I select two alignments, and I can say I want to join those up together. Now I can delete the green alignment, and now I can see that I now have one complete alignment for both of them. You can also join the profiles as well. So a very handy tool of joining alignments, as well as you can create alignments from feature lines. The nice thing about this tool is creating alignments from feature lines. You can also create the alignment profile from the feature line elevations. So in Civil 3D, we can already create alignments from objects, but we cannot create a profile from the object. But with the feature line, since we already have elevations along that feature line, if you can use create from feature line, select the feature line, and then it's going to let you name the feature. So align from feature. I'm just going to name it that way. And then I can also create a profile from the feature line elevations as well. So hit OK. And now I can very simply have the alignment created as well as the profile created from that. So a really handy tool of creating alignments from feature lines. We also have our own grading tool here. The grading tool is very similar to what you have in Civil 3D. Only difference being is that it uses 3D polylines instead of feature lines, making it a little bit lighter on the software, more user-friendly. 3D polylines are 3D AutoCAD elements that has vertex elevations, and because of that, we can use the create grading command, select the 3D polyline, select the side, and then you get a small little dialog here where you can apply different criterias like you're accustomed to in Civil 3D. So I'm going to say I want to do offset slope as a criteria. I'm going to have an offset of by percent. The slope should be maybe 2%, and the offset should be like 5 feet. And then I can also add another criteria right in the same dialog and say, hey, I want a slope to the surface now. Give it a slope via rise over run, or percent, or degrees. Give it a cut and fill slope that is different. Give it a surface. And just like that, I now have a grading created. I can also create a grading surface out of this. So very easily, I now have a surface created, and it's all dynamic to that 3D polyline. So it's mimicking the Civil 3D technology, but it's extending it a little bit more to use 3D polylines, which makes it in turn a lot more performance friendly to your Civil 3D environment. So it's not lagging as much, and it tend to have less corruption in the drawing. Finally, one of my favorite tools here is the add station and offset to points command. This is something that I wish we had out of the box, really. It's a very simple thing, yet it's really, really powerful and useful for so many purposes, especially with construction documents. We often need to provide the contractor an export of Google points with station offsets for staking purposes. And we have the station add station and offset tool here. In this drawing, I have a number of Google points. These Google points contain user-defined properties that the tool creates for itself. So I have a number of points here, and because I ran the tool before, we have the station. We have two alignments. We can reference two alignments. So we have ref alignment 2, and I'm not sure what ref alignment 1 is. But let's actually take a look at it in the properties panel. In the properties palette, we have this station and offset user-defined properties, and we have alignment, reference alignment 2, reference alignment 1. You have the ability to put in a station, a suffix, a prefix, and an offset. So obviously we can type this information in, but the tool actually fills this in for me. So once I have the user-defined properties, I can easily label them. So I simply click the add station command. I can select what points I want, maybe select everything in the drawing or not. So I'll do by group here, and I have a specific utility pool group that I prepared. And I'm going to give it a reference for the boulevard alignment here. If you're in an intersection situation, you also have the ability to add another secondary alignment. You have the ability to see what you would like to do for a prefix and a suffix. For the labeling, so I have left and right, of course, for suffixes, and simply hit OK. And now the information in the user-defined properties has been filled. We can take a look at them in the properties palette. Here we have towards the bottom, we have the reference station, suffix is right, the reference alignment is boulevard alignment, and we can always do this over and over and over. This is also easily updatable. So when we drag and drop the Google point somewhere else, the information updates automatically, dynamically on screen, so we're not losing any work. Station offset is right there, is updating itself. So that's about my favorite tool here. In addition to the visibility controls that we have, pipe network editor, so that you can edit the entire network run in one go, joining alignments, creating nicely, neatly stacked profiles. A lot of the tools help extend the functionality of Civil 3D to make us work a little bit more efficiently, more user-friendly, organize our drawings a little better. So with that being said, if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to address them at this point. Feel free to write the questions in the question panel in the GoToWebinar interface, and we'll stay on the line for a couple of minutes and address anything you have. Thank you again for your time. I hope that was beneficial to everyone. And if you have any questions, my email is on screen. Let me know.